What is good, yo? It's your boy Ty back here with another video, and in this video today, we're going to be going over the best player at each price in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. So, just a quick example. Who's the best player you can get for 1,000 MT? Okay, what about, 3,000 MT? What about 5,000 MT? What about unlimited MT? We're going to be talking about each and every one of those price points and, some alternative options if you don't like who I say. Now, before I dive any further into that, if you are new to my channel and have not yet, make sure to smash that subscribe button as we're on the road to 90,000 subscribers. Now, we're going to start it off with the man with the plan. Look, man, he played for the Timberwolves for a while, and I love him. I love him, but that doesn't mean he's good in 2K. And literally for 1,000 MT, you can get your hands on a Jarrett Culver. Now at shooting guard, he's 6'6", 86, 3 85, driving a good ball handler. Defensively, he's solid. There is really no flaws in Jarrett Culver, and nobody's really talking about this card because nobody really needs to really ball too much on a budget, but you look at Jarrett Culver, and the dude can do it all. If you want to look up some other cards that are, amethyst for that cheaper, it's going to get pretty grim. There's not that many options for that price point. All you're going to really get is dynamic ratings players. But I did some research, some quick research, and came up and thought of some guys who would be good, and Jarrett Culver was the best out of those. Now, for the price point of 3,000 MT, I still am going to go with Bonga. I mean, I know Bonga is one of those cards that you're like, okay, is he still actually good? And I'm not going to lie, Bonga is cheaper than 3,000 MT. For 1,500 MT, you can get your hands on a Bonga, basically. But for 3,000, you're definitely going to get your hands on a Bonga. And I still, to this day, like the card. He's 6'8", can shoot, can defend, can do a lot of things. He's just not a great playmaker, and I think that gets his name in kind of a bad light just because he's not a point guard that's going to make a lot of plays. But as long as you got a shooting guard small forward that can make some plays, Bonga can definitely hold his own on the court, and there's not a lot of guys that can do that. Now, again, we're going to go with another point guard here at the 5,000 MT price point in Toni Kukoc. Now, this card is definitely getting overshadowed by Sabonis. Again, they're basically the same amount of MT. Kukoc is right now just that little bit cheaper. That's why we're talking about him. But for 4,700, you're getting a card who's 6'10", 89, 3-ball, 80 driving dunk, can handle the ball, great defensively. You can make an argument Kukoc is even better than Sabonis. You absolutely can make that argument. And if you're one of those guys that wants to make that argument, I'm not the type of guy to argue against it. I'm not. It's just kind of personal preference. I do feel like Sabonis is more of like a cheese ball type of player, whereas Kukoc is just a card that's gonna, fill a spot for you. And I'm not sitting here and saying that's good or bad. I'm just sitting here and saying they're just different cards. So if you do like Kukoc, or if you do have 5,000 MT and you need a point guard, I would definitely recommend Toni Kukoc. Now at 10,000 MT, the card that I've been thinking of is another out-of-position player. This one is Jimmy Butler. Now, in real life, you guys know I don't like Jimmy Butler. I don't like him. I don't like, the whole thing around him. But I will say this. Jimmy Butler in 2K, if you do have space, that power forward position, he can hoop. And I can't deny that. Jimmy Butler can definitely hoop in my team. For 8,000 MT, you get a really good card. 6'7". That's the problem with the card. But look, a 93 ball, 90 driving dunk, 86 ball, 82 block, 96 steal perimeter, 92 interior. This is one of the best on-ball defenders in the entire game. If he had small forward, heck, shooting guard eligibility, everybody would be running this card. Problem is, you have to play him at power forward, and that, makes things really, really tough. Especially when, people are running Bobles of the world, the power forward, stuff like that. Makes things tough to run Jimmy Butler, when people are running Shaq against him. But I still think for 10,000 MT, you're getting a really, really solid value card in Jimmy Butler buckets. Now, we're going to plug in two guys here at the 20,000 price point. First guy is Big Ben Wallace. Now, Big Ben Wallace, a card that just came out recently that I'm absolutely in love with. And yes, you don't even have to spend all 20,000 on Big Ben. You can spend maybe 17,000 and get yourself a Big Ben Wallace. But what does Ben Wallace provide to you? That might be your question. Now, here's what he's going to provide: the best, or one of the best, on-ball defenders in the entire game. That's what he provides. Now, the other Ben is going to have the Hall of Fame menace, which does help him out a little bit, but with Ben, you're legitimately getting arguably the best defensive player in the game. And it's not only like he can on-ball defend. He's great at switching onto the big as well, and that's something that is so overlooked, especially on next gen. So I'm a big fan of Big Ben Wallace. Another guy that I have to highlight is RJ Barrett. I picked him up on my no money spend account, and this dude is absolutely incredible on the offensive end of the court. And on defense, he can hold it down. So gotta highlight RJ Barrett. Throw him in here as well, as if you do need, a shooting guard to kind of move and groove. RJ Barrett can fill that void. I run both RJ and Ben in the starting lineup. RJ shooting guard, Bennett small forward. So I definitely recommend both of those guys. Now at the 35,000 MT price point, we're gonna go ahead and plug in Kristaps Porzingis. Now most of your guys' Porzingis are not gonna be that great, and I get that. But for 27,000 MT, you are still getting a center. And I want you guys to listen to everything I'm saying. You're still getting a center who is 7'3", 93 3-ball. And you look at the block, it is an 89. Speed, not great, but it's good enough lateral quickness. For me, more than anything with Porzingis is you're getting a pick and pop big that's not going to get super mashed on the defensive end of the court. Those two things go together super, super well. I know, for a lot of people you want to press, and there's going to be some guys that I highlight later on that are going to be better at KP. Get better than KP at what they do, but I just think for his price, you're probably going to be hard pressed to find a better center in the entire game. For 50,000 MT, we're going to plug in another big guy. I think he's better at the power forward position, but it's Tim Duncan, right? Porzingis was pretty cheap. Tim Duncan, you're barely going to be able to scrape him on your team for 47,000, but I feel like it's an absolute steal. 6'11", 86 3-ball, 85 driving dunk. Now, although I don't love Tim Duncan, for this price, I do. I absolutely love him for this price. Perimeter's a little low, but everything else he's fine. Can't really handle the ball too well, but look at the badges. 52 base badges, 19 on Hall of Fame. I think the reason Tim Duncan gets a bad rap is because everybody, when the card first came out, was gassed him. He might be the best power forward in the game, all this stuff. Although that's not true, right? Although I don't believe he's the best power forward in the game, I do believe he's up there for being one of the most overlooked cards in the game. And the fact that he's 50,000 MT is just absolutely ridiculous to me. Now, card we got is 75,000 MT, might be a little more than 75,000 MT, but I'm going to kind of tell you guys why I have to do what I had to do. Now, he's 82,000. So we had the 75K and we had 100K. The two guys I'm talking about that I'm going to plug in for each of those prices were 75K to Wayne Wade, 100,000 MT, I'm plugging in Cade Cunningham. Now, Cade is just that little bit more expensive. That's why he is the 100K, and D-Wade is a little bit cheaper. But look, guys, you can get them both for 175K, so I split the difference just a little bit. But here's what you get with Dwayne Wade, guys, okay? Ultimately, here's what you're getting. An absolutely incredible complete point guard. Now, he's 6'4", so that's the only holdup that anybody will ever have for Dwayne Wade, is that he's 6'4". You get by the fact that he's 6'4", which he competes so well on the interior. His chase down block animations are ridiculous. His release is just fine. You're going to love this Dwayne Wade card. I wasn't sure when I first picked the card up on my No Money Bet how much I would actually like him. I don't just like Dwayne Wade. I love the card. And on the flip side with Cade Cunningham, right, you're getting another great point guard. This one's a little bit different because Cade's a little bit taller. Although Cade's taller, I don't think he's better on the defensive end of the court. So it's just one of those things like Dwayne Wade moves better. Dwayne Wade might be the better overall card, but Cade's just a little bit taller. So both these cards are really solid. I like both of these. I have Cade on my other account. Obviously I played in 250 with Cade, but Dwayne Wade is on my no money spend account. But both these cards I do think are deserving for being in each of these positions. They definitely deserve to be included in this video. It's really personal preference because they basically, guys, are the exact same price. Now, at 150,000 MT, I'm going to plug in a card that used to be a buyout. And as I'm going through this, I feel like auction house in general is super, super high for some of the top cards in the game. So, no David Robinson buyouts, which there used to be. Now, guys, you got to go and bid on a David Robinson, which it's kind of one of those things. It's like, are you kidding me? I really got to bid on D-Rob. So that's why he's at the 150,000 MT mark, because even if you have to bid on D-Rob, I think he's worth it, man. We talk about complete center power forwards in my team. You're not finding a more complete power forward and center in my team than David Robinson. If you can, please enlighten me, because who can handle the ball, who can play as good a defense, and who has as good of a release and as green of a release as David Robinson? Oh, wait, because I promise you guys are not going to find it. I like David Robinson more than the next guy that is going to be featured in this video on this kind of list. So just know that David Robinson might be my overall favorite card in the game. That's how much I like him. But again, you might be able to get him for way cheaper than 150K. Just keep that in the back of your minds. Now at 150,000 MT, it's kind of hard to find for this price point, right? Because I mean, there's just not that many people for 150,000 MT. So we're gonna talk about Patrick Ewing. Now here's the deal with Patrick Ewing. There's not a lot of Patrick Ewings up. And if you got Patrick Ewing, most people like him enough so they're not going to sell him. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Jump shot 4. That's all you need to know with Patrick Ewing is that he's got jump shot 4. Outside of that, again, you compare him to David Robinson. D-Rob's a better shooter. D-Rob's going to be just as good at basically everything in the game. I personally like David Robinson more. Now, a lot of people might not agree with that, but that is my personal belief. So is Patrick Ewing personally worth the price? No, but there's not a lot of cards that go for 150,000 MT. And so, or 150,000 to 200,000 MT outside of Patrick Ewing. And that's why I did ultimately plug him in on this list. So if you do need a power forward center, Patrick Ewing is a perfect guy to fill that void. Now we're going to talk about the max you can spend. So if you have all the MT in the world, who is the cards I would buy? Let's start on next gen. If you're on next gen, the card I would personally buy is Luka Doncic. Here's the deal. You got the max amount of MT. Find one with like 40, 35 Hall of Famers and go get him. He is the single-handedly best player on next gen right now. And I honestly don't even think it's particularly close. Like a lot of people are going to debate the guy I'm going to talk about next. But for me specifically, guys, I don't really think it's too close. Luka on next is by far and away the best point guard in the game. Now on current gen, this guy's got to be talked about. I mean, he just got to be talked about. He's got all Trae Young's dribble sticks, basically. Salim Stoudemire. Outside, he's a little bit taller. The price of Michael Jordan is just ridiculous. And even on next gen, you can make the case MJ is better than Luka Doncic. It's just, are you willing to pay the price for Michael Jordan? And that's something I don't think I can do. But again, if you have the max amount of MT, I got to go through and talk about this. Michael Jordan is the ultimate man with the plan. Now, a guy, honorable mention right here, is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, I don't think Giannis is better on either gen than both the guys I previously mentioned, but he has to be an honorable mention because he's a shooting guard at 6'11" with a really good release, and he's just an absolute cheeseball. So Giannis Antetokounmpo is obviously in that honorable mention category. Now, the reason I do these videos is to help you guys out. So if you are a budget baller, this video is for you. If you are trying to figure out who the best cards in the game, this video is for you guys as well. Hopefully it did help you guys out if you guys are, looking for cards to get to pick up, guys. But that's going to wrap it up for me today. Let me know your comments down below. Who was I too on? Who was I too low on? Who did I miss out on? Drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you are new. And as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.